Hate, lust, greed, and violence is what mankind has fallen to as we live in these last days. For our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers in darkness and their powers and principalities that dwell in high places. But during these times, we must dig deep down inside and unleash the anointed power of the awesome spiritual warrior.
From the beginner to the professional, from starting as a novelist and becoming a master, from playing and experimenting with new ideas and turning them into a masterpiece. These are all the elements of art, and our art in this program is sound. Hi, I'm LV Smith, host of the show Sounds Within, where we explore sounds in every aspect of the avenue. It could be from someone getting an idea how to make his car run faster, how he wants to hear those pistons pop. It could be from creating a masterpiece in music. It could be the spoken word. Well, it also can be art in animation. So we're going to bring back a guest. So I'm going to promote our guest here with that picture here of Mr. Starr Ray. It's very rare we get a person to represent our community who happens to be the CEO of an animation company who turns out positive roles. It's easy to create, violence for fun, but to instill positive attributes. And that's who our guest is today, Mr. Starr Ray of Imagination Station. Welcome, my brother. It's so good to have you back.
Yeah.
It's so good to have you back. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while. I know you've been very, very busy.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to change the format of questioning a little bit because I'm going to do a double set with you. I'm going to have you for another show. Okay. But we're going to talk about our theme about the early days of Starr Ray in this episode. So, what you been doing lately?
Lately, oh my goodness. Well, right now we're in the anniversary season.
Anniversary season.
Yeah.
Tell us about anniversary season. I don't have a clue.
It's called Evolution Anniversary Season. What it is, it's some people at Star Vision at the board. They got together, and I was the last to know actually, and they said, well, hey, let's take all the stuff you did that people don't know about, you know what I mean? And some people is new for the first time. But then there's people who know me now. They say, well, why can't we blend that together and do an anniversary season? And I was like, oh. And so they pretty much booked me on a show, a radio show. And I was like, oh, okay, so you go on this radio show? I said, yeah, well, you're going to talk about your early days. So it's really kind of zooming in on some of the story of, how I became how I am. Because going from music, but I was in art before music too, but it was always running hand in hand. So that's how I kind of came about.
We were talking about that, and I said you would have to come back to espouse about that.
Yeah.
And we got you here to espouse about that.
Yes,
but
sir.
Before we dive into the early days, I'm just curious, how could you not know what's going on in your own company?
You know what, man? I was like, it was a surprise. I was like, Because what happened was I talked to a friend back from high school. I hadn't seen since like 15 years. I was like, whoa. And they was like, someone called the newspaper that I'm working at now. I said, oh yeah, the newspaper? Like, yeah.
What newspaper is that?
It was the Fresno Bee. Yeah,
Fresno?
yeah.
So you're talking up north.
And the California Advocate in Fresno. I was like, oh, okay. And they was like, do you know someone called here asking about some articles on you when you was first starting? I was like, really? I was like, yeah. And so he didn't tell me who it was. So they little chopped it up. So I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder who that was. I had no idea. They still didn't tell me what was going on. So I was like, okay. So
this was a surprise.
Yeah, it was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, articles I didn't. I couldn't even remember some of the articles, you know what I mean? They were sending them to him.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, they're cleaning your clock. Digging your past. This
Back
was
in
your
the
life.
Day, I was like, whoa, so, yeah. So that's how it started. And it was cool, man. And when I finally knew, they was like, okay, since they need my cooperation on certain things, they was like, okay, we're going to be sending you out. You need to tell your story. When you start doing your interviews and you're going to start campaigning your characters, you know, you might want to take people back and tell them your story. A lot of people, some people that know about you. I still have fans back from when I was in my group, the Young Attraction. I spoke a little bit about that on the last show.
Yes, since we get into the early days, we need to
Yeah.
know where and time specifics
Yeah.
of these things. So tell us how the Young Attractions all began.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So you said early days, so we're gonna really dig deep.
Oh man, back in the Central Valley, man, California. Okay, you're talking Madera, you're talking Bakersfield, you're talking Fresno.
No, wait, that's Buck Owens land.
Yeah. Man, we were like totally, because you know I was raised pretty much on the farm, kind of like in the country. So I was raised with my grandmother. So you know I grew up on the farm, learned work ethics and stuff. But it kind of, the group came about. We were performing at family reunions and stuff back in No Town. You know, we call it No Town. And so,
Why did you go
know
to
what I
No
mean?
Town?
Because No Town, it was like, we were in a town where you got a lot of no's when you were a dreamer. And a lot of people was like, no, you can't be that. No, you can't
Sort of
be
like,
that.
no, our president
know.
cannot be president.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and on the end of the word Fresno, there's the word no. So it kind of went together. So, but then we had people who said, yes, you can do it. Those few that took interest in us, you know, a DJ from way back, he was DJing. He was like, man, you guys come. He just out of love. He said, you know what? I'm going to help you guys out. Come on and do some of my shows. I was like, okay. So we formed a group. We started at picnics, and I had a few cousins in there, and it evolved, man. It was cousins, and then it turned into a few guys I knew from elementary school and junior high. Then it went into, you know, the main group, which became Young Attraction, which was 4 members. We started with 5, but we had a person in our group. He committed suicide, so we lost him, man. So then I was a pretty, you know, but that was a monarch to our success. Happened like right after it.
Now, not trying to get too personal,
Right.
what year was this, or how old were you back then?
Oh,
Or-
man, Young Attraction, I mean, I couldn't have been no more than 14, 13, you know.
Now, what was that?
This was, let me see, 87, 88, 89, then we had, 91, 90.
Oh, okay, so
know,
you're talking
kinda
about something
booming,
like 20
man.
years ago.
So, yeah, about 20,
Dang,
at least
blink of an
17
eye,
years
man.
ago.
It's
Oh,
20
yeah,
years.
quick. Oh, yeah, man, definitely. It was you know, a lot of fun. We were, I went from pretty much practicing in my grandmother's garage to opening up for Tony, New Kids on the Block, and Karen White, Roger and Zapp. It was, I mean, it was got to that point. I understand those movies like The Temptations. I kind of really can relate to those movies, man, because things that go on in groups, personalities.
Indeed.
And then the group, we were about to sign with Motown, and the group broke up, man.
Oh, what a heartbreaker.
Yeah, it was big, because I had been doing Young Attraction all through most of my elementary school and most of my junior high and high school. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on the road. So yeah.
That is
how
inspiring. I mean, to be with Tony. I remember Tony. They were a very big group at that time.
Yeah, it was huge, man.
And then to be signing up with Berry Gordy's, did he sell his
Yeah.
corporation then?
So yeah, well, this was before he fully sold it. Yeah, this was before.
Oh gosh, but
we
still
was right
to be
about
with
to sign with him, man. And it's weird because the group broke up, and then I went solo. That's when I became Starr Ray. You know what I'm saying? I used to be Anton Starr Ray, and I had a song I did with this group that was producing a song with me that I wrote. It was called The Word Is Out. And then it got on B95 in Fresno, California, Bakersfield. B95 goes all the way up through the Grapevine.
Yes, it does.
You know, so they gave me some airtime. I broke in, I went solo. And so I was like, I'm gonna keep going, man. You know what I mean? It was just my love. And I didn't see the group for a while, you know what I mean? I didn't see nobody for a while. So, you know, and then that led to me becoming fully Starr Ray. You know, I did an album. You know, I end up on the charts. JNC, all the local record stores. I used to take my own tapes and cassettes to the record store for distribution, man. So I would be distributing in the day, and at night performing.
I have a wicked idea. I wish I would have known this before, because you know what I would have brought?
What?
We have young people in the audience who don't know what a cassette is.
No way.
He made, you know, I mean, like we see movies with a gramophone,
Right.
and you know, like we expect to see a disc, but no,
Right.
it was a cylinder.
It was a cylinder, right?
Yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
now if you would tell kids a cassette, they're gonna look at
Right, that little tape, I know.
sort of like the typewriter.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like,
I mean,
oh.
like
That's true. It's
that's
totally different generation, man. You know what I'm saying? And my son, he knows, and my son, he knows what they are, but that's because he sees all that stuff at the house. So yeah, man. So I was distributing, and I got in my Rising to the Top album. That was the song in the album, the little cassette that made noise for me. But see, the thing was, this was just on the West Coast. This wasn't back east and everything yet, but the DJs were passing it around. And then I did a song called Do Ya, and it was like really funky, and it was like R&B, and that's when I ended up opening for the Motown Review.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I met the boys, and it was weird because Motown was always in my karma, I guess you want to say.
Yes.
Yeah, it was always there, and then
it was a destiny calling.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, that's how that happened. But during the whole time, in fact, the cover of the Rising to that Top album, I illustrated it. And that was my first time, doing something like that. I was like, well, I'm just going to draw the cover. I'm shoestring budget, starting from scratch. You know what I mean? I said, I'm going to draw it. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm already drawing anyway. I'm messing around. So let me I drew the cover, and I drew 3 different covers for 3 different colors. And that was the first time that had been done in Fresno, California, or in that way with those record stores out there. Warehouse, Jancy House of Records, Virgin Records had it, but they was getting it directly from me. They was like, come in, we'll put it on consignment. They were like, hey man, we heard your song is selling. It was a lot of local groups that started kind of booming from that area. And so we had our own tours that we were like headlining. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of fun, man, a lot of fun. Work, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, man. I wouldn't change it for nothing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, since we on that theme early days, not to make you feel like grandpa or anything like that. You're too young to be grandpa anyways. What got you into art in the early days?
You know what? It was just a God-given talent, man. Because I was like 5 years old, and they were like, oh, no, I'm sorry, I was 6. I was turning 6. And my grandmother was like, hey, do you want to be in this drawing contest at your school? I was like, yeah. She said, I see you drawing all the time. I was like, yeah, I'll be in it. So I drew this Bugs Bunny character, and it ended up in the newspaper. I won, first place. And that kind of inspired me more. But I always liked cartoons. I always liked Fat Albert and all those cartoons and stuff like that. And so that kind of, my whole history is like cartoons, art, and animation. To me back then, I didn't even know what animation was. I just knew cartoons were cartoons. So I didn't know the difference between animation and cartoons. So yeah, but that really did it. Yeah.
Wow. Now, we're going to fast forward just a tiny bit.
Okay.
How did sound play a part for you to move into animation?
Sound, for me...
Or from the transition from the Young Attractions to Starr Ray the singer to Starr Ray the animator.
From Young Attractions, yeah. It's it was, what happened was the outfits we were wearing, I was drawing the outfits. And so that kept me being able to still get that art out because I just had to do it. And so I said, you know what? I started making the group little character faces, and we would put it on a t-shirt at a summer event. They would wear it, so I would paint it on a t-shirt. Oh. And they were like, the group was like, cool, man, keep doing that. That's good, that's good. And they was like, hey, man. So we started drawing haircuts. Like I was saying on the last show, we started drawing haircuts, and then we started cutting hair. I was like, well, I'm going to start cutting hair a little bit and shaping the hair. I was working on an image. And so music was always like in there for me with the art, especially with cartoons, because even though I like funky music, I like theme songs for cartoons. I like that music. You remember that stuff as a child.
Indeed.
It just hits you, man.
Yeah, right away you hear a little jingle. I say, oh, yeah.
Exactly. It just stays with you.
Where's my TV set?
Yeah,
right
you
now.
know what? I think people underestimate the power of sound because you could be 80 and remember a Sesame Street song. You can remember. You don't even have to even think about it that much.
No, it just hits.
It just hits, man. So that's kind of how it was for me. And I always liked theme music. Always liked theme music. I've always liked theme music, man. I've always liked it.
Well, can I pester you to come on our show once we get our new facilities, which are in the makings right now? It'll be a little while.
Right.
We would like to hear what you do on the keyboard to create sound.
Oh, sure. I would love to do that.
Yeah. It's going to be a nice facility coming in right now. Nice. It takes money and time to put that piece together.
That's true.
But it's in the making, and people working hard as we speak. They're working now. But I'm so fascinated to hear how you were attracted to sound and then turn it into art. And I guess we
Yeah.
got some things to share later on
Yes.
about, we had a couple pictures that, hey, we got to give a shout out to Miss Linnell Graham.
Oh, Miss Graham and Linnell.
Miss Graham.
Shout out, shout out. Well, you
Shout
know,
out to
shout
her
out to
because
you.
while you were so busy working, another
Yeah.
surprise hit you.
That hit
She
me.
sent a couple of JPEGs, like the opening shot there. So whenever you're ready, you can tell us about certain shots, or
Okay.
you want at your calling. Like, does that have to be now?
Right, gotcha.
A little bit later on, but we have some pictures that you did, even as you brought the posters, but we
Right.
also have them on digital. So you let us
Oh,
know.
gotcha. Sounds good, man. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
But but I'm so fascinated about your transition, about about your first, I guess it would be the early days of your first animation project.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I was doing those little comic strips that they used to have in the newspaper.
Let's remind the
Yeah,
audience,
yeah.
why did you start doing those comics?
You know what? That was my passion, even with the music, because music allows me to. What I like about music, it allows me the full artistic expression when it comes to performance. See, I don't see a lot of people taking certain things in the artistic world and blending it with the music and entertainment, performing arts genre. I see people tapping on here, a little here. I've been to shows. I've been to Barney's show. I mean, man, Barney's show is huge. It's almost like the Jacksons are coming to town.
Oh yeah, we don't have to
know,
remember. You could
man.
not say anything to a child
Right.
that Barney
Right.
stank, or that you did that. You either get two reactions:
Exactly.
cheers or things thrown
Things
at you.
thrown at you, exactly, man. I was like,
And
whoa.
words, or the third
Yeah.
thing, words you never thought they knew.
Exactly. And see, animation goes in sync with dance, performance, music expression with body movement. Because even with animation, and even with just drawing expressions alone, still shots.
Oh, yeah.
You have to the character has to express what the artist is trying to say or what the project is trying to say. That's key. That's important in art, man, because this is art interpretation, put together. But for me, since I didn't necessarily go to school for art, particularly for animation, I picked it up from all those cartoons I watched. And I knew that, well, you can't have animation if you don't have some characters.
Thank you.
And then Starr Ray Characters was born. That's how that came about.
Now tell
Yeah.
us about the Starr Ray character.
Yeah, Starr Ray Characters, man. It's
How
it's,
that came about.
It's my world, man.
It's your world.
It's like another world, man. When I get in there in that world, in the imagination, and it's Starr Ray Characters, so which is Starr Ray tunes, caricatures, and supernaturals. And so we have some supernaturals here today that we're going to show. But tunes was my, shout out to the early classic cartoons, Hanna-Barbera, the early stuff, you know what I'm saying? Some of the
Yes.
early stuff I liked. Even back to even stuff like the Smurfs. I remember all that stuff.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? All of
Rainbow
those guys.
Bright.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that. and caricatures, that's between cartoon and reality. Then supernaturals, that's like if you took, my characters. It's like my characters in Marvel, man. They would have to rival us, man.
Yep.
It's on that level, man.
Yep.
DC and them guys, we definitely, what I'm saying, we love to do business with them. That'd be great. I mean, just our characters in the supernaturals, like serious content that anybody can enjoy, but it's serious. The messages are good.
You gotta have a message.
You get some messages.
Gotta have a
yeah,
message.
It's a message, man.
Now let's go
Yeah.
back to going back to the early days.
Right.
What was the intent of Starr Ray and characters? Why?
You know what? My purpose. I always wanted to see how you can take an idea and take it to new levels of manifestation. For example, you go to Ice Capades, you go to the circus, right? And I'm like, okay, well, what if you took those things and put it together with music you like? And so I found myself, I'm like, well, that's close to children's entertainment. But then again, it's not, because there's some stuff on Broadway. I mean, even Shrek is on Broadway now.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God. So I'm
Oh,
like, I
yes.
know I could do something, you know what I mean?
yes.
So, but it was just being able to, I like to see, it's like the vision, it's like my purpose and my calling in life. And I always, no matter what I'm doing, man, it will not go away, man. I mean, I dream about it. Some of my ideas came in dreams. Pookie and Pandy, I mean, they're getting a lot more fans, and a lot of people love them because they're a couple and all of that, and they're fun. And so it's just bringing that to life. I like to see them alive and kicking, almost as if like it's stuff like, oh, let's call Pookie on the phone. You know what I mean? I want kids and parents and people out there to be able to interact with my characters in a way that really a lot of people haven't been doing right now.
That's starting to be a lost art, communication.
Yes, brother, you couldn't have said it better.
A lost art to tell a story or to share an experience with someone and to listen to another person share an experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the key to, I was like, well, how can I, because even when we were a group and I was doing music, my songs were like, the word is out. Songs were like 3D, don't do drugs. We were always in that genre. So, I wanted to put that with cartoons, man, and animation.
So we're kind of going back again to those old days of where you were starting to say, and I remember from the previous show, Starr Ray Characters is about a positive message.
Yes, sir.
Would you re-espouse that? And
you know what, man? These characters, because even cartoons nowadays, a lot of them I don't even watch. And I won't let my nieces and nephews and watch them either. And to me, it's like, well, you gotta save that wholesomeness that everybody loved when cartoons and characters were first being introduced. You know what I mean? And so I said, well, if I can do that through my characters, inspiring people, send a message in a way where it's not preaching, it's in a way that it's acceptable, but relatable to the audience.
in other words, you're posing a thought or a concept that people says, really think about this.
Yeah, think about this. Yeah, because these are things I think about. I say, well, if I can share what I think about, and in a good way, some people stop dreaming. A lot of the stories that we have for Pookie and Pandy and Friends, and we have Captain Kidd, is to really remind people, don't stop dreaming. And you do have power in you. Right. There's power in you. You just have to tap it. So we do it with the characters in a more exaggerated way, but the message is still the same. Every human being, man, has to.
Everybody has something to bring to the table.
Yes, they do.
Regardless.
Yes, they do. Regardless of who they are,
you
man.
have something to bring to the
table. A lot of people, it's sad because a lot of young people don't believe that anymore.
Okay, you want to share anything with the audience, visual-wise, about the supernatural and Starr Ray characters?
Visualize.
Some things from Miss Linnell there.
Let's see. Well, Linnell and Miss Graham, they have been very, inspirational, very supportive. Linnell is on the team. Miss Graham is on the board.
I get confused.
Yeah. But no, you got it right because her Miss Graham name is Miss Michelle Graham, and then we have Linnell Abraham. So
old timers. You brought some work. You want to talk about them?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let's bring up the red picture first.
All right, okay.
You stay where you are. We're going digital. I know you brought it. You can share it on the next episode in 3D.
Gotcha.
Work over. But let's talk about that red picture. Let's talk about that red picture.
You know what? That picture was wonderful, man. It shows the early comic strips of Pookie and Pandy. It was designed by the team. I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is cool. And it's a picture of me at the studio, and they took it and they just really hooked it up. They put Pookie and Pandy in there. It looks really good. I like it. It's an anniversary picture. To me, it's going to be with us a long time. It's like that classic shot, like early days when Muhammad Ali was, you know what I mean?
You look good in there. You look good in there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, but I'm glad about that. The anniversary really is something special. Even me, I work so much, sometimes I don't stop to really say, look how much I'm doing.
Can't take time to appreciate your own work, huh?
You hit the nail on the head, brother. That is so true, man. They be like, Starr Ray, I'll be like, yeah, man. I'm glad about it. It's captured. And, my hat's off to them for even coming up with that idea. You know what I'm saying? Because we do need to celebrate one another. And sometimes I don't even celebrate myself. I'm so busy.
Well, yeah, okay. You want to talk about the blue picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's bring that blue picture up. Now you tell us about. Remind us who in the heck is supernatural? Why is he important?
That picture right there, I didn't even. That picture, I don't even know about that shot. That's a good shot. It shows the books of a spiritual warrior. Those are the first two. No, I think it's three. For the first 3 episodes of the actual story, it's a mini series. You know what I mean? And that picture actually is a different mood than the red picture, which I love because Starr Ray Tunes has a mood. Supernaturals has another mood, and I like that in the design. That goes back to art appreciation, goes back to sound. Sound has a mood too, and it can change your mood too. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna bring out things you do not want.
Yeah. So it looks really good. I like the way they did it. It's put together, and those are actual books with the CD that I really that CD is
cool,
kicking, man.
Cool. Now, our villain, our evil villain called Time, has sneaked in and is about to embark upon us. So let's give words to the wise for this episode for your camera, so you know we have the
this camera right.
Yeah, that's your baby. You can tell them your words of wisdom for this episode.
My words of wisdom for this episode is all of you people out there, find your purpose. Don't be afraid to do your purpose, and be passionate about something in life because you have a gift, you have a talent, and don't let nothing stop you. You know, no matter what, because it will pay off. Dreams do come true. The dreams that come true are the ones you're looking at today. I can say myself, even L.V. Smith, to me, is a dream come true. This brother is showcasing people like us, and it's outstanding. Follow your dreams. It's worth the climb.
Wow, I know Smile Lady, so it says things like that, and she's a real major positive force. Also, I can't speak enough for the station, for all they do, and dang. It's just a wonderful world when you hang around the people to help bring out your dreams to come true.
Yes, sir.
Well, Brother Ray, I'm going to send you off right now, but I'm going to bring you back for another episode of Sounds Within. And do tune in when we begin another episode with Starr Ray's discussing his anniversary with Imagination Station. So with that being said, folks, tune in again. See ya. So you're not going to have a nice little...
Come on, get ready. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I'm more than a conqueror. Come on, get ready. Demons better beware. It's a spiritual war, you just won't stop. You gotta have faith and you gotta have heart. I'm coming up against all the evil around me. With a shaitan with spiritual karate. Some think it's funny, others think that it's a joke. If we want the wild folks, so get smoked. People getting lost like Dorothy and Toto, trying to get home, but there's nothing else a gun know. You can tell the devil that the word is a lie. A use of the spirit, see the evil in his eye. We're living in a time when everybody is a suspect. As you can see, the government still don't get it yet. And more law ain't gonna stop it. Also, stand steady,